The year is 1923, and we start on January 1st. We are in London, at a museum that is currently premiering a exhibition of artifacts recovered from southern Mexico. It's known as the Maudsley Exposition. It is an incredible event. As you look around, you can see that anyone is here at this exposition. You all have your reason for being here, whether that is for opportunity, whether that is to see acquaintances, or work. As you look around, you can see that there are intellects and academics here, stars, well-to-do folk. Let's start with the very first person. We're going to go with Abigail on the top left.
Thank goodness.
Hi. So, Abigail is a very, very classically beautiful young lady that you see like just kind of minding her way, not reading any plaques on the walls, but like look at, oh, it's very pretty, looking at the paintings, looking at the artifacts. She's wearing a big, luxurious fur coat. Her hair is very neatly primed and pinned, and it's like to every stray hair has found its spot on her head. And as she walks around the quiet museum, her high heels, a modest high heel, is kind of like clicking and clacking and echoing through this very grand, beautiful building. And she's just, being polite. Trying to make it seem like she's supposed to be there or she knows what's going on, but really she's just there to kill some time. That's Abigail at the moment.
Hell's yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next character. Millie, would you please introduce yourself?
Yes. Sort of you'd see darting from piece to piece in this exhibition, as though somewhat pretending to look and examine each one, but not really finding anything and moving quickly from piece to piece. A young woman wearing a sort of mix match of men's clothes that don't seem to quite fit together, a set of baggy brown slacks, a white shirt that's far too big, that's been buttoned up hastily and is quite crumpled, a black coat to protect from the cold weather outside that she hasn't bothered to cloak and is still wearing. And in her hands, she has a cap that she's sort of fidgeting with as she moves from piece to piece in the exhibition. Eyes sort of flickering around her, taking stock of the academic conversations that are happening, but never engaging with anybody at all as she moves around the space.
All right. Very cool. Elliot.
I'm playing Irving Schroeder. He's a mid-50s, sort of unkempt but still well presented. Deep tobacco stains on his teeth, and he's not even pretending to understand any of the art on the wall. He is there in a professional capacity as a driver. I guess he took someone there and he's looking for more business and more clients and well-to-do folks, but he knows that, looking for, more dodgier clients yield some higher profits. So he's got his eyes peeled for, nice big score.
All right. Sydney.
You're muted, Sean.
Indeed I was. It wouldn't be a Sean stream if I didn't stay muted when I first introduced. Sydney Alden is a elderly gentleman of 75 years old. While his skin is quite weathered, his grey, puffy facial hair is quite ragged and quite scrappy, as is the hair that is peeking out from under his cap. The clothing itself it's almost like the one good outfit that an elderly gentleman may have. It's quite well pressed, but it's clearly very much loved. It's a very plain white shirt, the brown tie, the beige vest, matching beige slacks. And he has his hands clasped behind his backs, and he's quiet. He's within his own world. He takes care not to particularly, at least at the moment, engage with anyone. It's that respectful kind of not just association, but the respectful distance from people, as he kind of finds himself just lost, as he's quite close to some of the paintings and exhibits. Just a bit of a squint from a man whose eyesight has deteriorated at least slightly over the years. So he always needs to scrutinize that much closer to truly appreciate.
As you look around, you can see that there is a veritable feast of things to look at and to take in, people to talk to. It's kind of overwhelming as you look around. Let's start with you, Evan. You see someone that you know walk over to you. It is the hired help of your current employer, Professor Smith. You know them as bedders, a butler. Ah, Evan.
Bellows.
What are you doing in here?
Oh, I'm just wherever the wind takes me, mate.
You're a driver. You're not meant to be in here with everyone else. Why aren't you at the car?
Oh, I just thought I'd see if I can snag some more business for another time, networking and all. Is that not proper?
It's not proper. Professor Smith pays you a good wage for you to be reliable and ever-present at the vehicle.
Oh, I thought he'd be occupied for a moment at least. I could snag a few more clients. He's not my only one,
You see Beddoes sort of just suspiciously look you up and down and knows that they don't really have any true authority in this situation, and will give you a curt nod and walk off. How do you react to that?
I just Beddoes. I work with him reluctantly, I guess, and he seems to have a set of rules, and I'm a bit more flexible with that, and so I'm just that's him.
All right. Sydney, you witnessed this exchange between Beddoes and Evan. Would you like to interact with Evan?
Why the hell not? And I feel like it's, whether consciously or unconsciously, Sydney finds himself, as he sidles and looks through the various kind of exhibitions and paintings and bits and bobs and interesting knickknacks from all around the country, he finds himself and Irvin at a particular painting, and they just happen to be kind of staring at the same time, and kind of wrinkles his nose, and you see his feather duster moustache just kind of sway to the side, and he, almost without looking over, just goes, "Is this your first time to an exhibit such as this?"
You don't see me at many of these things, that's for sure, mate.
Is art not exactly your speed, young? Oh, sorry, I should introduce myself. Sydney is my name, and yours, young chap.
Been a long time since someone called me young chap, but Irving's the name.
Stand next to me for a little while, and you'll get many compliments your way.
That away, old timer.
He looks at this painting and goes, My personal favorite is the Mona Lisa, actually, a masterpiece by the great Leonardo da Vinci himself. You've heard of da Vinci?
I can't say I have, mate. Is he French?
Not quite. A famous painter, famous painting the Mona Lisa was. Actually, would you believe it? It was stolen from the Louvre Museum, where just 12 years ago, in fact, 1911, daring heist, my boy, carried out by a man, would you know it, named Vincenzo Perugia. Now, here's the best bit. Vincent managed to slip into a museum.
Over.
Much like this, during closing hours, he hid in a closet overnight and then simply walked out with the painting the next day. For 2 years, remember, this is 10 years ago, for 2 years,
Irving's
he
already
kept
gathered
the
that
Mona
this guy
Lisa.
is not going to be a potential client and he's looking for his exit point.
Sydney, can I
Sydney does not notice.
get the very first roll of the campaign?
Oh, beautiful.
Can I get an archaeology check for you? Now, you don't have that skill, which means that you are going to need a roll of 1.
That's right.
Yeah.
You watch me roll a 1. Or, well, I mean, it's a 41.
It's a
so
41.
close.
Kind of one.
You seem to know a lot about other art, nothing that's displayed here. As you look around, you can see that these things have been gathered from ancient civilizations, people that existed long ago. From what you've been able to gather from the party, they have been gathered ever since the 1880. So the past 60 years, they've been brought from southern Mexico, and you know that they are Mayan. You do notice that a lot of them depict sacrificing people to gods and whatnot, and you don't know exactly how to make more of that. It is strange that they are keeping them near the other sort of classical art. Like you said, you were pointing to a painting.
And he kind of like, as he continues talking and he has a bit of this realization, what was a very boisterous, excited story, kind of makes way to the kind of the vacant trailing off of an old man that realizes he kind of was just talking, and then he realized it didn't quite make sense to what he should be talking about.
Asks, do you happen to know where the bathroom is, old
Oh,
man? Washroom.
yes.
I'll
And he
look
kind of
for
he.
it. And I saunter off.
Oh,
All
nice
right.
chap that was.
Millie, Abigail, what are you currently doing right now?
I think Abigail is admiring some kind of like pot or some kind of ceramics that she thinks is nice, has nice colors on it, and she's just kind of like looking at it, thinking about how old it is, looking around to see if there's anyone eye-catching or hence famous that she may interact with, because she's in London. Real Londoners are walking around. She can't believe it. But yeah, she's just trying to keep her cool a little bit.
I love it. And like the people are just moving around right now, sort of like darting around you, and you're more interested in the people than the actual
Oh, definitely.
Millie.
I think Millie is also more interested in the people than the exhibits, but for a different reason. She is almost obsessively trying to make sure that no eyes are on her. So she's not really taking in any of the exhibits, but is very much trying to follow the procession of people around the exhibit, trying to kind of squish herself in amongst the crowd as much as possible. Keeping an eye out for anyone who might be watching her or looking at her, but just trying to keep a low profile.
Give me a spot hidden check.
Okay. It is a 36, so it's a regular success.
36. As you look up among the celebration goers, you do see that there is someone that's moving amongst the crowd, and it's that gut churning feeling, that primal experience of seeing someone that you just unsettles you. You can see they have slicked back hair and they have a very thick, bushy mustache. They seem to be pushing through the crowd with purpose, and as you watch them moving through the crowd, you see them walking towards Abigail.
She will sort of, I think, probably dart behind one of the showcases, and away from the sort of tide of people, and try to listen in to whatever happens here to see if anything intense happens.
As you're watching this individual move towards Abigail, it's strange. They don't seem to be looking at Abigail at all. They do seem like they're heading in that direction, but they veer off towards a stage. And as you see where they're actually heading, you can see that they are moving towards a individual that you know, Professor Smith. Professor Smith is a lock. As you can see, there is a great many people that are currently surrounding and listening to whatever Professor Smith has to say. Abigail, you catch the eye of Millie, watching you.
Like, oh. And she's like mumbling to herself, and she turns around and sees Millie, and she says, "And a woman in trousers! Can you believe it? Hi! Have you been to London before? You live here like a true, real life Londoner. It's just very exciting." I'm Abigail Abbott, by the way, and I reach out to shake your hand.
Millie Lynch.
Oh, Millie Lynch. You're the first other lady I've met since I've been here, so I don't know, I can just tell maybe we're like destined to be friends or whatever, but it's fine.
There certainly aren't many ladies here, that's for certain. Where are you from originally, if not London?
Oh, I made the trip up from Cornwall. My family, we grew up there, and I just came down here because I want to make myself like a name for myself in Tinseltown kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be a movie star, but
I see.
Yeah,
I see. That's very admirable. That was never mind. How are you finding the exhibition?
Oh, it's very pretty, and everything here is very old, and that's exciting. Like there's like so much history here, I suppose. So, maybe they'll make a movie about it, about southern Mexico. And she's just kind of like word vomiting at you about nothing.
Southern Mexico, is that where it's from?
I think so. I read it on the big banner at the front. So,
I didn't catch that. It's so crowded here, don't you think?
It's okay. Just stick with me, and then we can look at it together. And she takes Millie's elbow and like wraps it around her elbow, and they kind of just like stride off together. It's like, don't worry, I'm a very important person. I'm sure there's some kind of like tea lounge that we can go to, and perhaps escape the crowd if that's not what not what you're after, and we can take some breather. It's fine. I usually can get into those kind of areas, and she's kind of like skipping off with Millie.
Sydney.
Okay.
You heard that entire exchange. What piqued your interest?
I think honestly, it's just the sound of younger, excited voices. He's not used to that. I feel like, especially in his last couple of years, this is his first time out and about in the world. He comes from a city, comes from a very small kind of like interior life where he didn't really hear much of any of the youth, like not his children, not people in the streets. So least of all within a place of sophistication, a place of history such as this, it very much pierces through the haze and the fog that had kind of engulfed him since the kindly young man had left his side, and it just pierces through and wakes him out of the fog.
It's really nice.
All right. So do you just watch them go, or were you interested in having a conversation with them before they embark?
I think at this point he'll stare at them for a little while, not in an intense way. There's just like almost like a curiosity, and you maybe like catch him, and he is very much like alone, and he just kind of like with a mixture of kind of fascination and awe, these kindly eyes just kind of fall to the two of you, and he almost just like gives like a polite like.
I think Abigail catches your eye and she's like waving like she's in some kind of music video or something, like, the people of London, and she's still walking through the museum.
I think for now he just like kind of like chuckles to himself and just goes, oh, I guess it's been a while since I've been out. I guess this really is what the children enjoy now. And he kind of like chuckles to himself and continues moving along, and doesn't, at least for the moment, doesn't take much note of it beyond that, because as an elderly gentleman, he's not just going to walk up to to random young women and be like, "Hello, what are you doing?"
Damn it! You guys have cracked me so many times.
Game's easy.
Yeah, we're gonna get better at this. Okay, Irvin, as you're making your way through the crowd, you do catch the eye of your patron, Professor Smith. While Professor Smith might not be your only client, he is definitely your most prominent client, the one that pays you the most, the one that has you booked out for entire days. You can't see that there are other people that are trying to gain his patronage right now, smoozing him and trying to convince him. You see it is another driver that seems to be trying to move in on your turf.
Oh, and what do I do?
That's up to you.
What do you do?
Okay. I'm sort of like, so there's a few people gathered around him now. Yeah.
This driver is someone that is in how they have an athletic form. They have a very nice suit on. They have their hair coiffed back, short sides and back as well. They're very put together, very professional. It's not the only client that they have taken from you in the past.
Do I know them by name?
Yes. You know them as Theodore, or Ted for short. You don't know their surname. You can see that Theodore takes out...
Oh.
So sorry.
Sorry.
Oh,
PG
that's
stream,
fine.
right.
No, you guys can... I just don't swear. So you guys can swear. I already disclaimed that this is an adult stream. You see that Theodore, or Ted, takes out a ornate cigarette tin and opens it up and offers it to Professor Smith, who promptly takes one and strikes a match. Teddy, that is, which lights the cigarette. Professor Smith seems to enjoy this interaction.
I'm just standing back far enough away to hear the goings on, but yeah, not close enough to kind of raise awareness of myself, I guess. Right.
So, do you continue to where you were heading, which I believe was the bathroom? You actually had
that was just an excuse to get away from from Sydney.
What?
You weren't meant to hear that.
All right.
Does Abigail catch the eye of Smith at all?
Not yet, but would you like to approach?
I think we're at further sides of the room at the moment.
All right.
But
what can I hear from my distance? I'm sort of trying to look like I'm not looking at them, but like I'm definitely trying to hear them.
Yeah.
Can I make anything out from the conversation?
Yeah. Give me a spot hidden check.
Sure. That is a 37, regular success.
37. You definitely hear the conversation happening between the two of them. You know, Professor Smith, I could do a much better job than that galoot that you're currently employing, and at a cheaper rate. I'd get you there faster as well, and I would protect you much better. Oh, that does sound quite good. Doesn't properly tend to himself, so I might be in the market. Good. Well, here, take my business card, and when you're ready to get an upgrade, let me know.
Oof.
can see that Teddy puts away the cigarette tin and won't linger, because that would be unprofessional. Moves on and heads out of the museum to wherever their car is, not staying too long.
Well, yeah, taking Beto's instruction earlier, I head outside and I sort of beeline towards Teddy, I guess.
Right. Okay. I think that everyone has seen this at this point. The only person that hasn't seen Professor Smith is Sydney. Sydney, I do think that you would see Irvin moving out with purpose towards the exit of the museum right now, and your eye would be drawn over towards Professor Smith. You're not sure exactly what's happened or why Irvin is moving with haste towards the door. Abigail, Millie, Sydney, what would you like to do?
I think that Abigail is kind of she's like spotted Professor Smith, and she knew that she would probably catch him somewhere in London while she's here, and she kind of like starts to pick up her step a little bit, and it's like a fast walk, and she's going, Julius!
No! You
My girl! How are you? Come here!
And it's a big hug.
you've grown so much! What are you doing in London?
I'm gonna be a star! Just like I've been practicing, and I've already made a best friend. This is Millie, and she's a real Londoner. So, I'm already like making friends with the locals and stuff. So, yeah.
Hello,
Millie,
Professor.
you look familiar. Where have I...
Oh!
From the night circus, most likely.
Night circus? What do you mean night circus? Are you a clown? Do you ride elephants? Do you tackle lions? What is it that you do?
Acrobatics mostly.
Oh my goodness! They're all just so quirky out here. I can't go.
Yes, I'm taking a holiday for a few days.
Well, you're a great contact to know. So, and she ruffles through her bag and she pulls out a little card that says Abigail Anna, movie star. And then how you are contacted in the 1920s? A
telegram.
No, post office box.
Telegram.
Yes.
Well, that's what it says. And she puts it into your hand. She's like, well, if you ever like make a documentary movie about the circus, or if there's a movie that's happening with a circus, we can definitely be in touch for sure.
Goodness, you're living. Wow, that's a nice area. Oh, gosh.
I think with the amount of like noise,
Abigail is
that Abigail's presented, and especially that she mentions Julius by name, he slowly makes his way over, almost like squinting over, and Julius. By Jove!
George, is that you, Sydney?
Yes, good friend. It is really.
Why? Are you sure you're so old?
Time has not been kind to me, good friend. I see you. So speaking of friend, have you made some acquaintances of your own here? Have you?
Abigail is more than an acquaintance, aren't you, good girl?
Practically a daughter or whatever. I don't know, but I'm Abigail Abbott, and she puts her hand out to shake Sydney's hand, and
Sydney will very gently reach out and goes, "Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, young lady."
Yes. Well, this isn't my dad, but I don't know. Julius and my dad go way back, so pretty much a traveling uncle for me. And she does a little pose next to Julius.
Julius is one of the most intelligent, engrossing, captivating men that I know. Well, many a times he's I don't know if you know much about the study of archaeology, but this man right here is an absolute expert in the field of decoding and deciphering. We've had many letters drawn to one another, haven't we, Julius?
Yes, you're too kind, Sydney. You see him take a puff of the cigarette, and he sort of exhales it, not in anyone's face. He's very polite about the exchange. Of late, I have been focusing on debunking a lot of this ghost stuff that everyone talking about ghosts. very interesting things, but most of it is just theatrical event. It's all fake. You see him look over to Abigail and says, actually write up what you do.
It's movie magic. That's what we call it in the biz.
Is that what they call it? Movie magic?
Yeah. I think it's a new term that's come up recently.
Sorry, Julius, you said ghosts. What exactly do you mean? What? That's not. I haven't heard about this. What?
Oh, psychics, mediums.
It's what happens when you die.
There was one of them at the circus that had a small tent outside.
A ghost?
Well, no, like somebody who'd read cards for you and tell you when you were going to die. It was all very depressing.
A crazy person.
Yes.
Magic. It's all just charlatans they are. They're trying to take advantage of people. So I have found some interesting...
No, Uncle, no. What if that's real? Like, maybe we should go... Oh.
Well, each to their own, of course. Some, just as some believe in gods and deities, others believe that they simply return to the dust. We should never judge what one believes exists in the afterlife, for we too never know until that time passes.
You see a knowing look sort of like come over Professor Smith's face as he sort of studies how you're holding yourself as you deliver those lines. He considers asking you a question, but thinks better of it and just gives you a curt nod. You are right, old friend.
Does Sydney have any idea what is held back in that look? Does he know Julius enough to know what was kind of intended?
Give me a psychology roll.
Oh, I absolutely will.
Awesome.
Because I'm not bad at psychology. But today I am. So 66 above my 41.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You're not precisely sure exactly what it means.
It's been a while since he's seen Julius face to face as well. Yeah. So he doesn't, in the same way, he kind of, he notes it, but he's not going to address it in public company. He kind of just stores it away for later.
Not to reveal too much, but I am holding a lecture on such a topic. I have found some interesting things in my studies. And
do you need an assistant? For the lecture, I mean. I can hold a pot. I have very beautiful hands. They've been on screen before.
Yeah, girl, are you requiring work?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Not money. I would happily do it for
exposure. I think they call it exposure. Interesting term, exposure. Since that we actually expose film, exposure.
And that's what we are referring to right now.
Yes, of course. Right, yes, I would love to have you up on stage to help me deliver my lecture. It is in a couple of days, so you do have some time to explore London and take in its many brilliances.
Yes.
So, I was just going to. I just wanted to say as well. I know we haven't talked about it much, but I just wanted to say I am sorry to hear about Margaret. I know we haven't had a chance to talk face to face since then, but I just want to say
it's the way of things, and my condolences as well. Some time has passed, of course, but you carry them with you.
Yes, well, how's Beddoes, by the way? Is he still in your employ?
Beddoes is still in my employ, loyal as ever. Wants me to eat less red meat and poppycock. I'll eat whatever I want.
You always did.
The trouble I'm having is with my driver. My driver doesn't seem to think that keeping oneself proper and imprimmed is in the job description.
Have you told him?
I tried to talk to Beddoes about his working manner. But
what's his issue?
Well, he needs a haircut and perhaps a bath, or he also just doesn't know his place we've seen him walking around the event right now, and he's meant to be at the car. I shouldn't be talking about such things. It's more of Beddo's role to do such a thing.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Well, a driver should be a proper driver, and if he's not looking after the vehicle, then I'm not sure who is, and that's maybe you should upgrade to somebody who, you find handsome and you find well and you find competent, and I don't know, and then maybe if you don't need that driver anymore, I could have a driver.
Young lady, were you watching my conversation with the other driver just before?
You mean the handsome smoker?
Yes.
Yes, I was.
Right.
I was.
I am not meant to promote this. No, you know what? I think you do need a driver. Otherwise, your parents will surely.
Daddy will be much upset.
Yes. So what I am thinking is maybe you take Irvin, and perhaps by taking Irvin, you can influence him to being a bit better. I will trial out.
The stinky one, and not the.
I'm going to
one?
give you the stinky one rather than giving you the handsome smoker.
Okay. That's
But
okay. I'll take
I will
it.
say this about my current driver.
Irving.
Very good driver.
Mm-hmm.
Not only a good driver, but also probably hold their own in a fight. So I believe that they will look after you.
I think Sydney will as this is going on, he'll kind of try and sidle up closely to Smith, just kind of, and lower his voice, and he says, Julius, is she old enough to be perusing around the city by herself? How old is this girl?
Oh, she is old enough, but old friend, perhaps you do show her the sights around the city if she is willing to have your company.
Millie is still locked in, by the way.
Yep.
He kind of like glances back and he goes, my friend, it has been some time since I set any sort of child under my roof. It's I don't think the young girl would take kindly to me at all.
Your last correspondence said that you were writing a novel. Was it
I wouldn't. It's silly notes. It's the ramblings of an old fool.
I tell you what, old friend. Perhaps I'd fund those ramblings until you get them straight, and you could stay somewhere nice and enjoy yourself while you're here in London, and come to my lecture. Perhaps you can help me make sense of exactly what I'm trying to put down into words. I have been lacking as of late.
I don't know how much use I would be with your genius, but I could certainly give it a try.
So you are too kind, to a fault.
And he kind of like almost peters off as he notices Millie. He's like, I'm sorry, I don't believe I've introduced myself. Sydney, Alden, and you are?
Millie Lynch.
He looks back at Julius. Is this another that you know? Another friend, acquaintance?
We've never properly met, but I do see him in the front row on occasion.
Quite good.
He's an enjoyer of theatre.
Spectacles. I enjoy
And film.
You're a performer, are you then?
Yes, I travel around the continent mostly, and around Britain too, but not for some time. I'm here for the first time in quite a while.
Why are you here?
Like I said, I'm just taking a break.
In a museum?
Yes, this was a highly advertised affair, and I thought that I was taught a lot about the histories when I was younger, but I haven't come in touch with them much in recent years, so I thought I might reacquaint myself.
Admirable.
The banner was quite large, so.
Oh, spared no expense. I'm a good friend of the exhibitionist.
Oh, I was gonna say, Julius? Do you have something to do with all of this?
Of course, I have my mitts in many things around London.
I know.
It was quite extensively advertised at King's Cross too. I noticed lots of flyers and such.
You've got
Millie,
to spend money to make money.
Are you in need of like a traveling acquaintance or anything, or like a best friend to like, I don't know, do stuff with in London? Or because I have a driver and we can like drive around and stuff, and that's cool. And
yes, if you want to expand your horizons and take in the culture because it's been a while, then no better opportunity than with a future star like Abigail.
It's true.
What do they call it in the business, Abigail? Is it starts with E? It's Entourage. Is that what it is?
Oh, yes, we can get our Entourage coming, and your granddad can come too. And she looks at Sydney.
No, and he, like in his mind, it kind of jolts his mind to hear the word. He's never heard the word grandpa before, and he kind of just goes quiet at that.
Well, I mean, you're a friend of Julius, so I don't know. I'm just kind of looking for a little group of friends to have lunch with.
Well, perhaps we could visit the Globe Theatre. Have you ever?
You know more about London than probably the rest of us.
Oh, well, you would love it, my dear. Wonderful open-air theatre, no roof. Believe it, the actors perform in elaborate costumes. No need for, you know, the movies these days, they have special effects and large props. None of that, just a good old-fashioned live theatre with voices big and boisterous enough that even the smallest penny pincher in the far row could hear them. Stands to this day. Wonderful theatre. Always
good show, yes.
Did you hear that, Millie? We have a driver and a tour guide.
And a show to attend.
Yes. And a lecture. I do expect you all to be at my lecture.
What should I wear?
Oh, Abigail, I don't think that anyone could tell you what to wear unless you were on set.
All right. Cool. So pots and pans and old archaeology, you know, I don't want to steal the show.
You crack me up, young lady. Beddoes, come over here. Yes, sir. Go get Irvin. He just left, sir. Yes, but now I want him back. Go get him. Right away, sir. Beddoes starts to move out towards the front. Irvin, as you arrive to the exterior of the museum, you can see Teddy walking towards his car. As he approaches it, you see him open up that same cigarette case and lights one up, stopping in the street. You search the surroundings and you can see that there are people out on the street right now, and you are under a twinkling velvet sky, points of light sparkling above you. One can only imagine what is out there amongst the stars. As you look over towards Teddy, what do you do?
I call out to Teddy. Teddy, old chap, could I bum one of those cigarettes, please, mate?
Sure. He sort of gestures you over.
Yep. Grab one off. I'm assuming he hands one to me. Yeah,
and he'll light it up for you.
Oh, much obliged.
With a massive grin on his face, he sort of nods at you. Cigarette still hanging out of the mouth. How are you, Irvin?
Where'd you get these? Not the best, mate.
You insulting my cigarettes.
I just know that the people you're driving for might prefer something a bit tastier, you know.
I will say this to you, Irvin. I don't think that you are anyone to decide what taste is. He looks you up and down at what you're wearing and how you're keeping yourself. Definitely not the authority on taste.
Well, I do know a thing about ethics, and Irving has a switchblade comb, but from the outside it just looks like a switchblade. And he pulls it out and he's like, and I do my best, and I certainly do my best to stay ethical, if you know what I mean.
Right. Are you trying to intimidate here?
Yep.
Now,
Sounds fucking intimidating.
yeah, please make an intimidation roll.
Now here's a question. I don't have a skill in intimidate, so
It will be 15% because it's in the brackets, which is everyone's base. You need to roll under 15% to intimidate here.
65, absolutely
65?
not.
We're not rolling well today.
Irvin, you tried this on me last time. Unless you went out and actually bought a proper blade, I'm not scared. And I don't think that you could afford a proper blade, Irvin.
Sly grin and a quick chuckle, and I, press the button and get the comb out, and then just go, well, maybe I should just work on my looks then.
Maybe you should, mate. Hey, truly, no hard feelings about your past with the people I poached from you. With business is business. Just trying to do our best out here. You'll find your way, Irvin.
Too quick, mate. There's things that I can do that you can't, and your well-kept look. Really struggling to intimidate the ears right now.
Yeah, definitely. So, do you want to throw down? Is this a shakedown? You're trying to shake me down right now.
Whoa. Who says anything about that, mate?
Look, I'm a straight shooter. So, what do you want, Irvin?
I want you to stay out of my business in the future. And I just start walking away. Back towards the museum.
Yeah, you see Teddy throw the cigarette on the ground, it bounces, and then he steps on it. And you see the cinders from the end, the burning end, sort of like break away. Walking down the stairs towards you, you can see Betters. Irvin. He clicks at you.
Excuse me, Teddy. The boss is calling. Right away, sir.
He directs you through the museum, and you can see the people that have been milling around the party collected around Professor Smith. Yes, over here, Irvin. Thank you, Betters. Betters sort of retracts back into the crowd. Ever present, always watching, never in the way or in sight. Irvin, I have a job for you. A very important one. This is Abigail. Abigail?
Hello.
Evening,
And she
miss.
puts her hand down.
Yeah.
This is, I believe you called her your bestie, Abigail.
Oh, and this is Millie, and this is Sydney, and we're an entourage.
Yes,
I'm sure.
I believe we met.
Oh, yeah, you're telling me about that French painter, yeah.
Yes, good. well remembered, sir. That was indeed Leonardo da Vinci, and who painted the Mona Lisa. It was good remembering.
Nice to meet you.
Evening.
Well,
I love that. I think it absolutely would have devolved into the most intense, awkward silence.
Yep.
Right, well, now that you've all made your introductions, Irvin, I need you to drive this entourage around for a couple of days until my lecture. It's at no expense. You have my accounts, so if they do need anything, just charge it to me.
As always. Glad to serve you as always, Professor.
and Abigail turns to Millie and she's like, I told you. I told you I could get us good.
Very impressive. Yes.
Irvin will look after you best that he can, and when I see you at the lecture next, we can discuss the rest of your time in London. But for now, please just enjoy yourselves around the city.
Thank you, Julius.
You're more than welcome.
And another big rambunctious hug happens, and Abigail's making a scene, and
You're getting so strong, young lady.
and she kind of just like starts fluttering, like looking at a nearby sculpture or exhibition piece.
God, they've got
and almost like in a bit of sucking up, Irving goes, "I can tell she's very important to you, so I won't let her down. Only the best."
Only the best.
And
He's looking you up and down,
Abigail
and like you can tell that Julius is trying his best not to say "get a haircut." he's like, trying his best not to say that. You actually see like just behind the mind, like just behind the veil. He's like, maybe I should pay for the haircut and the upkeep, but then just thinks the better of it because you get paid. You can pay for your haircuts. Okay, so what is everyone else doing at this current juncture? Is there anything else anyone wants to sort of like do?
At this point, not for me. I think Sydney's definitely exhausted. Unless you want him to keep talking about random paintings, because he can do that. I met Mona Lisa once.
Miss Mona. I think just a quick, it's nice to finally meet you, sir.
Oh, he like looks right. Oh, me?
The professor. Sorry.
I'll continue not talking to you then. That's right.
Very good to meet you. Let's have a conversation after my lecture. I would like to know more about you and the circus.
Of course, I'd like to have that conversation too.
Very good. Yes. For now, just enjoy yourself. You've earned it. I hope that you find everything that you're looking for, young lady.
Thank you.
Very good. Right. I have a party to attend. Hey, you, over here. You see he's pointing over to... you're pointing to another person. You can definitely see that Professor Smith is a socialite and an academic. Right. So, Irvin, you are in charge of the comings and goings of the party, in a sense. The Abigail and everyone else can decide where they're going. I don't think that you guys have really found a place to stay yet. Let's have a quick look at my map.
I was going to say, because Julius did offer me a place, but I'm not. It was just more so, here's money, take a nice place.
Yeah, so pretty much everyone has that situation right now. You can change. Everything's going to be charged to Professor Smith, which is
nice.
Really great.
Let's go to America.
I think, yeah, maybe. Let's leave the campaign.
All right, game on, guys. Let's go. I'm down.
I think maybe Abigail turns around. She's like, so we have 2 days, was it? GM, this is Chelsea. We have 2 days to do whatever we want. I say we find somewhere to stay, hopefully somewhere with a nice like spa, bathhouse, boutique kind of vibe. And she kind of like looks to Irving because maybe she can sense the vibe that Julius was putting down about him. She's like, and we can set up, a little base there, and then we've got everyone. We've got the party. That's you, Millie. You're, circus crazy. Wow. And then we've got Sydney. He's the scholar. We're going to a lecture later, and then we have a driver, and that's everything we need. And we have the name, which is me, the looks, but
he is overwhelmed by the ferocity and the speed in which this young woman, he's not adjusted to it. It's like you're quite an interesting young girl, aren't you? You said you were a movie actor. Is that right?
Well, soon to be, yes.
Well, you must know the best.
But one
places.
time I was in the paper, in my local paper for a cereal ad, so that's almost the same thing.
It's more than I've ever been on, I'll say that much.
More than most people.
I hear that London is quite the place to be for the industry.
Yes, well,
currently.
That's why I'm here. I'm picking up auditions. I'm going to, at least get some kind of radio commercial. I've heard my voice is, nice for radio, so, yeah. I guess what about everyone else? Anywhere I could slip into your plans in London?
I think first, Irvin, do you know the city well?
The driver?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
city well as anything.
Well, if young Professor Julius said we have our choice of places to stay. If you know of anywhere at least comfortable, at the very least in mind, perhaps we could go there to at least freshen up and at least get our bearings in this big wide city before we go gallivanting anywhere else. A home base, as you put it quite nicely, Abigail.
Evan, a couple of ideas come to mind. There is the Chelsea Arms Hotel.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
The Sean Hotel.
Yeah. You also know that there is a bed sit nearby as well. A couple of bed sits, which is essentially just like bed and breakfasts, small sort of like places. You also know that there's the Victoria Hotel as well. Which is quite nice. The Chelsea Arms Hotel is probably the nicer one, and
I was going to say, what's the most expensive?
Yeah, it's definitely the Chelsea Arms, I would say.
Of course it is. Am I right, guys?
Yeah.
I say.
I'm getting that Professor would I lay these options out?
Yeah, so you could definitely find a more quaint sort of like bed and breakfast sort of situation, or you have the two hotels. Like the Victoria one will probably like save you money, but if you wanted to just be like, okay, it's on the.
It's not our money.
Yeah, so we'll go to Chelsea Arms Hotel.
Yeah, it
so
feels like in these
like
situations,
3-star and 5-star sort of situation.
It feels like in this sort of situation, the professor would spare no expense and wouldn't get too riled up at me for picking the better option. Well, that would be my judgment anyway.
It's your judgment, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Abigail's pushing for it anyway.
Yeah.
So you can.
Let's see that dialogue as well. So Evan.
Okay. Well, we've got the Chelsea Arms, pretty nice establishment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If we wanted a bit something small without all the ritz and glimmer and glamour and spas and baths and all that extra stuff, the stuff you don't need, we'd go sorry, I forgot the name of the bed and breakfast.
There's many bed and breakfasts. Yeah,
there's many bed and breakfasts around.
Usually,
Hairy Bear.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, go sorry.
Or if we want to go all out, the Victoria Hotel would be the way to go, I reckon.
Heard of the Chelsea Arms? It's quite lavish.
Mm-hmm. And I've always been told to dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And I think that should be extended to living situations as well.
Well, you seem to be really good in with the professor, so I think it would not.
Would he mind?
No, Julius would not mind at all. One time he bought me a horse.
Oh!
Well,
dear.
it won't cost a horse to go here, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
He's a very, he wants everyone around him to be living comfortably, and I think it's fine if we're living comfortably. We're in London. What am I going to do? Just stay in someone's stinky old house while I'm on holiday. I'm not moving. I'm not going to live back with my mum and dad. I'm going to live somewhere fancy with a big bed.
Well, I suppose if you have the option.
Yes, exactly. Irving, take us to the Chelsea, please.
Right away, miss.
All right. So you guys make your way out into the night once again under that sparkling velvet sky. As you make your way towards your car, Irvin, can you please describe it for everyone?
Oh, I guess I hadn't thought about that.
Nope, that's fine.
Yep. Yeah.
Actual play.
Yeah. No, I guess it's a quite standard sort of 1920s taxi of the time. So Irvin sort of started out at like just your regular cab company and moved on to private chauffeuring, and I'm assuming he got his current car through some, dodgy friendships and business dealings. So it's quite nice, but much like him, it's a little rough around the edges, reeks of tobacco. But, it's nice enough, nice at a distance. It's once you get up close, much like Irving, you start to see the stains and, yeah.
All right.
Start asking questions, is that blood and all that?
Guys, as you approach the car, how do
Oh
you
my
react?
god.
It looks fine to Sydney. The fact that they are even going to apparently an apartment that would cost more than the house that he came from is already, while he'll go along with it, he is a little bit uncomfortable with that. So he'll ride in a taxi. If it was a horse and carriage, he'd ride in that. Sydney is just happy to be out and about, and he considers that a win.
Is that the expression that's held upon Sydney's face?
He goes quiet as he kind of observes the car, and he is actually looking. You said it's nighttime, didn't you?
It is, yes.
Yeah, he's actually, his eyes are fixated upon the stars, which, even though we are in the heart of London, you can see a few dotted here and there if you do squint hard enough. He is absolutely transfixed by the sky above.
That's nice.
Abigail, Millie?
I think that Millie she's very baffled by this turn of events and was quite stressed when she saw the professor in the museum and was talking to him. Bit too close for home, so she's very baffled by the fact that she's in this situation now, and I think she'd be very sort of a rigid, not talkative, but she'd have a very sort of a flat face, as though she is sort of just sort of stoically kind of disassociating from everything and just being led along, which she very much is.
Can I get psychology checks, please, from Abigail and Irvin? As you guys look upon Sydney and Millie.
Sure.
67, nope.
18. That's
18.
a
Of course, you get our first success. Of course.
Yeah. No, someone else got a success. Someone else.
Have we? Just because I've been rolling incorrectly all night. So.
Yeah.
Abigail. You can
That's a
clearly-
half success.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's good.
Extra good.
You see these expressions held by your entourage, the two of them thinking about certain things, and there is almost like a contrast between the two of them.
Okay, yeah, well, I guess Abigail does not like a down mood, okay? So she can sense that maybe Irving is like, it's pensive, not in a terribly melodramatic way. And she looks over at Millie. She's like, Millie, this is going to be fun. It's not going to be like staying in a circus tent at all. We're going to stay in a really comfy bed, and there's going to be a very nice bathroom. And don't feel guilty about it, okay? Because these people, and she leans in close just so Millie can see, they have money and they don't care about spending it, all right? Like, it's okay. We can just have fun. That's what life is about, you know, having fun. If people want to pay for you to do things, you just have fun. That's how Abigail's taking it. She's like, are you stressed? She like grabs her shoulders.
Not exactly stressed. I'm just, I've not been around this this side of the world, this money, this frivolity for a number of years, and it's quite disconcerting.
Oh, okay. Well, you just let me know, you know, as your bestie, if you want, you know, to anything I can do to make you feel better. But I just don't want you feeling guilty if that's what it is. Okay.
There's a bit of that.
Have you had a fight with Professor Smith before? I understand that he can be quite brutish sometimes when he's had a couple drinks.
What? Are you? That was the first time I ever met him face to face properly.
Do I believe that?
So, as soon as that is said, your conversation is suddenly interrupted. Standing right behind all of you, you can see a Bobby who is currently holding their nightstick at the ready. They see the exchange between people that are more well-dressed and people who aren't well-dressed. They look towards Abigail and Sydney and ask, is everything all right here?
Everything is great. What are you talking about?
You see them like looking up and down, both Irvin and Millie at this point. You you need help, you just call.
Yes, I know how to get help when I need help. Thank you very much. Please do not insult me and my friends by talking to us like that. Thank you.
Sydney will like try and like immediately like not shush. Abigail, no, just Abigail, just one moment. We are perfectly fine, gentlemen. You can enjoy the rest of your night. Rest assured.
Very good. Come on. You see the other one who didn't say a word, just give like a scowl at Irvin and Millie and move off. You can definitely feel there is some classism happening here for sure. And it is the way of things, especially around these parts.
Sydney looks over at Irvin and says, I do apologize about that.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I get it all the time.
Well,
Good old London.
you shouldn't.
growing
That's the
up
point.
in a small country town, Abigail definitely like, although she is filthy rich, I will say that to the audience and everything, she has a good heart and like knows that that's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? Like she does see the good in people, but also expects the best for herself. So
and just the inherent like the thing as well is Sydney is not rich. He's wearing his like good clothes, but he is by no means a man with an abundance of money. If anything, he's utilized the last of his small retirement bundle, as it were, to come on this trip. So he's almost ashamed. Like he already feels like a fraud for we're heading to the Chelsea Arm. He's like, this isn't even remotely his life, and so he feels very like kind of like not ashamed, but very like apologetic. It's even if you do get it the whole time, it's not right, and it should not be the way. So again, I apologize for them, and I hope that does not resonate with you as the way of the world of all people. Not all are like that.
It's not your fault, Sydney. It's just London.
I was just going to say, I think as a terms of juxtaposition to that, Abigail thinks that she's like doing a good thing or like doing charity work to like, yeah, we're going to stay at the Chelsea Arms and we're going to like, look at you in your little raggedy clothes. Like, we're going to have a good time.
I'm bringing the poor with me.
Yeah, I'm bringing the poor with me and, you know, I'm doing good work. Yeah.
Because I think at this point, Sydney kind of notes the expression on Millie's face, finally like sees the tension and and he like kind of looks back up and says, Millie, did you notice in there how it took me a little while to notice this myself, but there's a Southern American influence to the art that was inside.
I'm afraid my own knowledge of the histories and of archaeology is somewhat was somewhat shorter than it ought to have been, but I could definitely tell that it was not local, indeed not of a European origin, but I did not discern its precise locative origin, I suppose.
Give me an archaeology check.
Need to get a 1.
Yeah, I did check this.
No, 28, still good, but not good enough.
Still good. So you definitely know that it's from the Americas, though you did manage to pick up one name during everything that was happening, and that is Dr. Alfred P. Maudsley. The doctor was the person to bring all those exhibits from the Americas over here. You don't know exactly like where they came from, or, like civilization they're connected to. They are origined from ruins from over there, removing them from their original sites.
I did pick up on the name of the chief proprietor or sponsor of the exhibition, some Professor Alfred P. Maudsley, who I do know that the British Museum likes to collect things from various cultures. And
well, it's interesting you say that. You see, you don't always have to get the your knowledge and your information from museums, as intricate and interesting as it is. For example, you need only look up Those in the Americas did so themselves. The culture there, they were known of the Mayans. You may have heard of the Mayans. Ancient civilization, but also renowned astronomers. Complex understanding of the movement of the heavens. By Jove, they studied the stars and the planets. More so than that, the calendars that we know today, it's January 1st after all, but their calendars were far more sophisticated, far more accurate than ones used here in London, known as the Mayan long count calendar, based on cycles of time and set to predict major events. It's incredible, and he's using this to kind of like try and get her mind off the event that just happened, while kind of like drawing her and grounding her to what's presently around her.
And I think she does actively sort of. I think she's observant enough to recognize that and grasp onto it, sort of becoming engrossed in what he is saying as though he is sort of one of her old teachers or something like that, and sort of brings herself back to when things were better for her and allows herself to sink into what he's saying.
Really beautiful moment. I love that.
Glaze over and just start lighting myself a cigarette and just sort of motion the cigarette pack to anybody else.
I think Abigail takes one.
Or just what? Here's my question: how old is Abigail? 20?
It's 19.
19.
What I love about
she's a
this
cool kid.
is this is what Irvin would do in situations, because Irvin knows not to just open the door and direct them into the car. They get to choose when they leave, so you know that offering a cigarette is probably the best situation here, so they can enjoy the moment more as well.
I think Abigail would have like a cigarette stick as well, like a cigarette holder. I don't want my feet to smell.
And he like catches himself as he's about to like not chastise, but you know, have that thing of like, should you be having that, young lady? But he reserves
it's great
himself.
for your lung capacity, haven't you heard?
And he's like, oh, yes, I have heard. And he's not going to say anything because he realizes that if she's just going to push back, and there's a lovely moment that's just unfolded, and he knows better than to ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and she turns to the car and like waits for Irving to like open the door for her.
Unclasp the door, hold it open.
Thank you. To the hotel, please. And then she gets inside.
Millie, after you.
Thank you, and I'll get in the back seat.
And then Sydney runs away. No, he gets inside as well.
See you, suckers.
Yeah, Sydney will sidle in
the back
last.
with them, or does he go in the passenger seat?
Oh, if no one's in the... No, he'll of course get in the passenger seat. No, he'll...
Girls in the back.
Yeah. he might regale you with another story or two.
You guys,
as I assume you walk around to the front, I'd sort of pick that up and I'd come open the door for you. And I guess I just go to hold my hand out to like just help you in the car. Like, I don't know, you're old enough that might be necessary. I don't know. I'd sort of
Sydney takes it in the spirit that it's intended. He won't say no, but he's like, oh, thank you, chap. You I hope my story didn't bore you earlier.
Oh no, nature called.
Well, thank you very much. And he sidles in with your help.
Yep. I roll around the other side and get in and start her up.
All right.
Yeah.
You can hear the engine sputter into motion, and as you do, you're hit by the heavy, pungent aroma of old tobacco. The headlights light up the road as you begin towards the Chelsea Arms Hotel. Another awkward silence shared between all of you. The question is, does anyone break it?
I mean,
I wonder who.
Either Abigail or Sydney.
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah, why not?
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
There you go. Even over stream it works.
Yeah. So Abigail's like, is this, she's like trying to connect with Millie. She's like, is this your first time in a car, or like...
Actually, yes.
Oh, well, they're not all like this. And then
Oh, this is amazing. It's so loud.
Yes. Well, there's a lot going on in there, magic and booms, and I don't know.
Again, magic. There's so much magic to be seen around this city, it seems.
Movie magic, car magic. Mr. Irving knows how to make it go whatever way he wants to go. It's quite impressive,
And Professor Smith knows something about ghosts as well. It's truly, yes.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He's grown up kind of telling me crazy stories my whole childhood or whatever. So I wouldn't take what he says too seriously. It's not like he actually experienced those things. Like,
oh, did he not?
Well, it's ghosts. Like, he just, I don't know. I only know his name, Julius. He would come find me as a young child because he's been really good friends with my dad. So he would come, bring me playwrights, bring me stories, tell me ghost stories, tell me monster stories. It's just kind of like his thing, I wouldn't think too much on it.
As Abigail finishes that sentence, something very magical happens. The lamplight filters in and it goes from shadow to light to shadow to light. The sound of the locomotion underneath the tires of the road, the cobbles and whatnot, bumps and moves. And for a split moment, Abigail, you feel like you're being on film. You feel like you are.
Oh my gosh.
You're in a movie. It's a movie moment, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
It passes almost immediately, and you're back here in the present. But,
I think she kind of takes it as like a, oh my god, I'm really here. I'm out of my small country town. I'm living my life, and she just like looks around to make sure no one saw her. Kind of daze out for a second, and she's back being prim and proper and alluring or whatever it is she is.
Millie, I would say that you are still engaged in conversation here. Give me a psychology check.
Oh no. What happened?
Oh, we're going to be psychologying each other for so long. Like, what the hell is wrong with you all?
I rolled a 6.
Yeah, you notice. You definitely notice that fleeting moment of complete joy.
But yeah,
he seems to have been a remarkable influence on you.
Mm-hmm. I think he's the reason I want to get in. Well, I am in film, and he just really instilled this love of stories in me and adventure, and I think that's the best you can feel when you're watching a good movie,
Well, I think to have, at the end of the day, such a well-known and well-connected patron, or at least friend, can be nothing but beneficial to your prospects. So
Exactly. And she grabs Millie's arm again, and she's like,
Hells yeah. Your trip
and she'll just lapse. Sorry, I just said, and then she'll just lapse back into silence, having fully interpreted Abigail's sort of blissed out thing as her just sort of thinking back on her relationship with the professor, and in the context of the conversation, nothing out of the ordinary happening.